Holy sh... What happened?
That was dumb. Well, this is a little too close.
It is low.
It's my biggest RV mistake ever. I'm embarrassed to tell you guys about them. I'm Tom, and this is EnjoyTheJourney.Life. This is 8 of my biggest RV mistakes that I've made and how you can avoid them. I have been full-time RVing for almost 5 years now, and I have made some really big mistakes. I'm almost embarrassed to tell you guys about them, but in the interest of sharing so you can learn and not repeat them, I am gonna share my biggest, my doozies, the ones I wish I could totally redo. I've got 8 of them to share with you today. So I brought the bedroom slide in when it wasn't clear on the inside. We have this salt light, a Himalayan lamp that actually was laying on the floor, and I brought the slide in on top of it, and it kind of messed up the slide. It stripped some screws out and is going to require some repair. And it's another reminder that you don't want to be in a hurry when you are packing up, and to always follow a checklist. Plus, you don't want to be in a bad mood. Cherie and I had actually had a discussion right beforehand, and I was a little bit distracted. And that's when mistakes can happen. So again, we want you guys to be safe out there on the road. If you have like something that is bothering you, distracting you a lot, if you have an argument, then make sure you clear off on that before you get on the road, because that tends to bring even more mistakes when you're in a bad headspace or mental space. And another big mistake is going down the wrong road and not realizing you don't have enough clearance to get your RV through, like I did on this particular occasion. I had to cut down some tree limbs, get on top of the RV and do that.
Well, I think I went down the tenters only route. At least it wasn't marked that way, but I mean, I've already cleared one tree, barely scraping just light branches, and then now we got a pretty good sized branch up there. Pat, I'm gonna have to try to get on the roof and cut down a little bit. So we're already behind, and yeah, this is slowing us down even more. So you never can be in a hurry when you're RVing. It's just not gonna happen. So this will be interesting if I can get on the roof, because the kayaks are actually right on top of the ladder. If I can force my way around a kayak, or I'm gonna have to unstrap them a little bit or something. So definitely slowing us down.
In this other situation, I had to back up and go a different way.
Well, this is a little too close for comfort right here. That is definitely going to touch something on the roof. That is low. So I am going to pull out and just go through the indoor. Is the way it's going to solve that problem there. Yeah, that's a little sketch. And look at this right here. Look at how close. This is just sketchy all the way around.
So it's a good reminder to know the height of your RV. Ours is under 13.5 feet, but that's the minimum clearance. A bridge has to have at least more than 13.5 feet for us to go underneath. Otherwise, we've got to go a different way. And how do you know when you're going to run into a situation like that? Well, I've mentioned it here before, but the All Stays app actually has a section on their maps where they will list the low clearance bridges. So that's something that you can check out. There's a link down below in the description if you would like to pick up that app. So this was one of my worst and scariest. We were doing some boondocking in my Uncle Pete's place of business one summer in Minnesota, and it was time to leave, and I was kind of close to his office trailer, and I just decided to swing just a little too close. I mean, obviously the truck cleared it just fine, but the RV did not, and you can see what happened right now.
What happened? This is knocked off right here.
What?
So making that turn, the back end hit it? What kind of damage you have over there?
It's scratched.
Do you want to grab this?
Yeah, well, that was that was dumb. I clipped the side of my uncle's office trailer.
The issue with these long fifth wheels, and some of you out there will know a little bit more about the technical ways to say this, but the fifth wheel trailer we have is so long that when you make a hard turn, the rear end actually swings out farther than where you were. And so I have to be really careful how close I get, like to a gas pump, or even when I'm making a turn on a road, not to make the turn too tight, because the rear end is actually swung out into another lane of traffic because I turned too tight or didn't leave enough clearance. So I like to plan for 3 to 4 feet of clearance. So sometimes pulling out of a gas station, for example, I will make sure that Cherie is keeping an eye on my rear end, so to speak, and making sure that I don't hit anything. And if she's not behind me, then I will actually stop and get out and check. I know it takes a little more time, but it's better to be safe than sorry. One of my very first RV mistakes was my spare tire sits really low underneath, like I've mentioned in some previous videos. And the issue with that is when you're going on curbs where there's a lot of an incline or decline, depending on if you're pulling into like a gas station or leaving a gas station. And in like first year of ownership of the RV, I was pulling out of a gas station and I thought I noticed something pulling out, and as I was going down the road, someone pulled up alongside and started waving at me and pointing in the back, and I'm like, uh-oh, that's gonna be an issue. I pulled over, went back, looked underneath, and there's a spare tire just dangling like this near the road, and it still was attached, but it broke the entire assembly there, and it is an ongoing issue. Cherie and I kind of debate this, whether I should just take it off, put it in the back of the truck and just leave it there, or leave it underneath. And as I've mentioned in other videos, this is an ongoing issue, and it's something that just something else needs to happen. So a lot of RVs have these low-hanging tires. Is that the right word for it? So if you have a low-hanging tire, you better pick that tire and stick it in the back of your truck. And this may not seem like a big mistake, but it could potentially be. Another time I was not using a checklist and distracted, leaving a campsite, I ran over the chalk. And you can see what happened to it. But not only did I break this, which is not an expensive item, it is still usable. I'm still using it, but anyway, this could really damage a tire. And that would be a concern. As far as I know, it did not damage our tires, but I would not want to be doing that. So I'm gonna chalk this up to a big mistake. So remember your chalks and to not drive over them. Damn, I'm
you're
funny.
good.
And another big mistake that I made was when the RV went back to service at the factory, we didn't personally go there to make sure all of the repairs were done that were promised. Several things when the RV came back that were not done, some decals that they said would get fixed, and the rear jacks were not functioning when the RV came back. But the big thing is we've had some slides that don't quite work right, and they didn't fix that either. So those are repairs that were promised to get done. They never got done. And again, we highly recommend whoever is servicing your RV, whether it's the factory or you have it in at a dealer, you make sure you inspect every single part of that before you pick it up or take the RV back. And related to that factory repair visit, another big mistake was not taking it there ourselves. They hire transport drivers to take your RV there, and ours transport driver on the way to the factory ripped the awning, must have hit a tree branch or something on the way, and then coming back, the tires were way overinflated, and I will show you that right now.
We are racing off to get our RV. Finally, it's been gone almost 2 months now. Been back at the factory getting fixed up, and we're so excited to get packed up, stuff from storage, and get on the road. And there she is. Oh my gosh. Our baby all back in one piece. Yay. One of the things I noticed when checking the RV getting back from the factory is the tire pressures were really high, unusually high. Tires are E-Class rated, should be 80 pounds max cold, and they varied between 92 and 96, which is really bizarre. Yeah, it is like 96, this tire right here.
And I want to read this comment from Leif Erickson on Facebook. He used to work at an RV dealership, and we consider him an RV expert. And he's talking about the transport drivers and what you need to know about them. I want to read this specifically here. And what he says is, the transport people that haul the RV from you to the factory, these guys haul ass at 70 miles per hour. Check your tires with a tire knocker / hammer, run over debris in the road, potholes, bad bridge decks, curbs, etc. Their goal is to get from point A to point B in the least amount of hours possible, while all pretending to be transporting legally. And as long as the RV gets to its destination in one piece, then the transport driver did a good job. So highly, highly, highly recommend, if your RV is going back to the factory, you take it there yourself. And hey, you will already be there. That way you can inspect those repairs, and you actually get to take care of both of those. And if you have any experiences like this, please comment below and share what you've experienced with having the factory work on your RV and getting it there. And speaking of RV tires, that is number 8, but it's my biggest RV mistake ever. It was so bad, I made a full video on it, and you guys can check it out right here. To dab myself. Am I smearing my makeup? Oh, I guess I don't have makeup.
You're not sweating, you're glistening.
So I'm,
Not listening, you're glistening.
that's not too much wind, is it? I mean, we got a little breeze right here. There's sharks in these waters.
There's sharks.
Seriously?
Yes.
Maybe I should get out there in the water and film out there as sharks are circling me.
That would be an exciting video.
Would that be good?
Yeah.
How long have I been full-time RVing?
5 years?
5-year anniversary. I just did 4. Hey kid, quiet down back there. Where am I going with that?
That's kind of cool.
I will make sure that Cherie is keeping an eye on my rear end. I cracked myself up.